Yeah.
Hello, brains, and welcome back to On the Edge with April Mahoney. Here, this is the spot. This is the place on the planet where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Okay, I need you to put your maturity on for this conversation. Okay, because this is not a new normal. This is the real normal. And we are going to have a very open, raw, and candid conversation about sexuality and gender identity. Now, whether you with it or you not, it's here and it's here to stay. And yes, I'm going to ask some controversial questions. So if you got an attitude, you might as well go on and click off now. I don't want to hear no comments. I don't want to hear no negativity. I don't want no drama because I'm going to ask questions that people out here want to know. Okay, and as simple as that, I am not making a judgment. This is merely an observation. So I just go on and get covered by the blood right now. I love everybody on the planet, gay, straight, left eye, green skin, don't matter. But I'm going to ask the questions, okay, because that's what we do on the edge. We've got a phenomenal guest. And let me tell you, she's on fire. When I was talking to her the first time, I was like, whoa, she is not playing, okay? This is Simona Lee Sparks, all the way from New Zealand. Brains, I'm going all over the world for you. And she has dedicated her life to tell parents and to help people understand gender identity and try to get with this gender equality, just really trying to make it mainstream so that everybody's not getting so crunchy. So I want you to be very kind. I want you to be very respectful. And I want you to open your mind to this conversation because it's about to get heavy here on the edge. Hello, Simona Lee Sparks. Welcome to the edge, baby.
Hello, April, and hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. And thank you for the way that you set up the stage. I'm
Hmm.
like, first time that we met, our energies were just like, okay, girl, we are doing this. We are not afraid to speak up because it's not about us. We are not speaking up for us. We're speaking out for those they don't have the courage or the platform to do so.
Right. And you have dedicated your life to this. So I want my brains to know that you are originally, I looked at your bio and, you done towed a heavy load. You're originally from Romania and you were, 5 months in a homeless shelter. You are the mother of a gay son and you have dedicated and transforming your life because you are traveling around the world. You are not playing to speak up for the underserved and overlooked and underrepresented gay, lesbian, transgender people on the planet here. Tell my brains a little bit about you.
Well, long story short, I was born and raised in Romania, and in my early 30s, I made the major decision of moving to United States as a single mom with my son. He was 6 at the time, and I simply left because I didn't identify myself of being part of that culture anymore, and I just decided that I don't want to raise my child like that. So I took some say courage, some say crazy, it maybe a little bit of both, and just moved to United States as a single mom, as I said, and having no friends there, no family, and we did not speak any English.
Mm.
So landing there, very rapidly our excitement turned into drama, and we went through many of the stories that you read and hear about immigrants. And yeah, pretty much visit the hell a few times with my kiddo.
Wow.
And we've been living there for about a decade, 8, 9 years or so. And a couple of years ago, we moved to New Zealand. So now we are here. Hello from the future. My favorite line. And as you can see, future is bright. It's always sunny here. Doesn't matter what the weather is, it's always sunny.
It is beautiful. And I've been to Australia. And as we were traveling Australia on Qantas Airlines, everyone kept saying, you really need to go a little further and go to New Zealand. So now that I know I got somewhere to kick it, I'm definitely coming to,
Girlfriend.
yeah, because they say it's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm
It is.
loving it. But I mean, you went from the United States all the way to, why New Zealand of all places?
Well, I was living in Minnesota most of my time in United States. We live in Jersey for a while, then in Virginia, and then we end in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
After a few years there, I got to the point like I could not take the winter and the cold anymore. So I was ready to move, and I was dating, and I was telling my boyfriend that I'm ready to move. And a couple of weeks later, he just came to me and says, okay, how far are you willing to move? Because I just got a job offer in New Zealand. A few months later, we just moved. So here we are.
All right. So now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this of this entree. Okay. You are the mother of a gay son. Tell us a little bit about your awareness and your realization and how you found out that your son was gay.
Yes. Thank you for asking that. At some level, I knew, but I never been sure. So I noticed, the behavior, the tendencies, following all the stereotypes that we know about. I was questioning, right? And even lay down some circumstances for my kid to make it comfortable for him to own who he is.
Mm-hmm.
But he never did. So we are already moving New Zealand. I went back to school and I started a new career in coaching, and my niche was and still is parenting. So I signed up into doing the work in supporting parents to create an amazing relationship with their children.
Mm-hmm.
So shortly after, my son came out. And
okay, so I'm sorry, I'm going to interject a little bit. How old was he?
He was 14.
14, okay.
Yes. So was an amazing conversation, and for me was like validating that I was right. Mm-hmm. Parents need to be right.
Right. And a mama always knows. A mama always. I don't care what nobody say. The mama know.
But was such a relief for him, right? And in that first conversation, I found it fit to support my child, encourage him to come out to his friends, thinking that it would be good for him to have his peers support. And he asked me, Mom, did you came out as straight? Mm-hmm. And I was like, holy shit, I did not. I didn't have to. So I kind of planted the seed, so much so that a year later, that seed grew into being my podcast. As you know, I host a podcast. It's called Redefine Family in the Modern Age of LGBTQ. Mm-hmm. Because I start talking with people, interviewing people around the world, and learn more about it, and get like, how was the experience? How did you find out? What was your experience? How your family react? How that influenced the interrelationship in a family, and so on. And it was just next step to share with the world, because it's not about me. And a lot of people ask me, why you do this work? You're not gay. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. That's the thing. We need to bring more straight people into the community until that community is dissolved, and we don't need to refer to LGBTQ community, and it's just norm, and we are all the same.
Well, hit me to something. It's now LGBTQ plus. It's an alphabet soup of gender identity. What is the plus?
Well, because there are so many, and I mean, if I'm not mistaken, at this point, like 58. We can't put all into the acronym. So, and that's the thing. Like, it's
58 what?
58 plus gender identities. Like, okay, this is what people tell us.
All right, so let me dial back, okay? Because there's only two species. There's a female and there's a male. Mm-hmm. People are quick to say, is this a lifestyle? Is this a culture? Is this a gene? Is this part of the DNA? Because you say there's 58. I thought there was a male and a female, and anything else that comes in between that is gender fluid. Hit me to these other, 42? Right. I don't have a clue.
Right. And that's the thing, because when people think there's male and female, they are not mistaking. Like, that is the gender that is assigned at birth,
Right.
right? And then, okay, so somebody explained this in a very simple line, and this is how I explain it when I work with teens. The difference between sex and gender. Sex, it's male and female, and sex is between your legs. Gender is between your ears.
Okay.
And when we talk about sexual orientation, it's a complex concept that and I'm not a scientist, so forgive me if I don't explain this in the wrong terminology. Sexual orientation, it has different parts, like sexual attraction, like who do you want to be close to physically, who do you want to have sex with,
Okay.
right? Sexual identity, who do you identify as, like how do you feel in your mind, in your body, right? And then it's sexual behavior, like how do you explore your own sexuality. So all that is giving one sexual orientation that doesn't necessarily has to do with the genitalia. That is biology, that is reproduction, right? The phenomenal magical parts that we human have in order to create a baby.
I call it bumping uglies. How you like to bump your ugly?
Yeah. God, you were hilarious.
Okay. All right. So that makes sense. That makes sense. I got that. Okay. So now the awareness. Now I was just listening to someone else's podcast, and oh my God, they held her feet to the fire because she said the gay and lesbian community, or the LGBTQ community, now wants civil rights, versus it is not the same civil rights that was experienced by Black Americans, or what's going on now with Hispanic Americans or Asian Americans. There's no civil rights. Civility is civility. It don't have nothing to do with your color. Okay, yeah. People want to be treated with respect, and they want to be treated with dignity. But as a heterosexual woman, I have been subjected to a lot of discrimination by the gay community because I'm straight. So how do we draw a parallel with civility?
Yeah. Well, it's coming down to just taking a step back and learn how to look at each other as humans.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't care if you're female or not female or gay or straight or transgender or black or yellow or whatever. It's just we are humans. We have heart. We are born. We are living. We are dying. And we are all humans. Like we are all the same. And in the same time, we are all different because there is no one like you on this planet. Right? So this homophobia, and I don't know if there is a different terminology from the other direction around, it still exists. And that's why we show up on this, international platform and speak to it until we normalize it and is not an issue anymore. As happened with so many other things, like females going to work, or, slavery and all that. It's the same principle, it's the same work, just about a different issue, It's like, can we step back and look at people as people? And that's exactly the invitation and the work that I do with parents around acceptance of their own children when they come out, right? Because they're freaking out, and I totally understand, because they have that limited belief. Like if you grow up, if for 40, 50 years, all you knew is that there is a man and a female and end of story. And now your child is telling that he's something else or she's something else, you might have a reaction. But it's like, that's still your child.
Right.
You are still loving that child. And it's such instead of freaking out, it's an amazing opportunity to learn about it and work through your limited beliefs and explore that path with your child. Because in the end of the day, you are the adult. And your child is not there to embarrass you or to make you feel bad. The child is sharing a very personal, giant part of his being that it's a permanent decision. You can't take it back. And it needs your support.
Right. But, I think a lot of people are very stuck in their religious doctrine.
Mm.
They have been programmed to believe and think that only one way. You will see in any relationship, or a male, female, whatever, sexual promiscuity. You will see flamboyantness. You will see disrespect. You will see a lack of monogamy. So all of these things are, compacted. And so this is the first thing that a parent sees is, this is my child is going to be wild out there having sex, doing this, doing that with all these different people and doing it in all kind of freaky ways. I'm not going to have no grandchildren. All of that is running through their mind. What are other folks going to say? And what they are doing is they're really missing the intricate part of a human being. They're missing their heart, So what do you say to these parents? How do you break down that stereotype? How do you even begin to get into their head?
Right. Well, what I'm finding through my work is that the underneath of all the underneaths is the shame.
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
when we get to that and we pull that out, and then we see what that shame is coming from, it's from a limited belief. And then that's the work that I'm doing as a master in transformational coaching method. It's working with the beliefs. What is the beliefs that doesn't serve you anymore, doesn't serve your life anymore, and you need to let go of them. But it's not just about letting go of that beliefs. You need to replace it with something. So you need to use a new belief. And then the next level is how we integrate that in our being. Because when we are here and then we change our beliefs, we have a new belief systems, we become somebody else. We put on a different identity, right?
Right.
So my invitation is, what is it that you need? What is the work that we need to do together? So then you could become the parent that your child needs you to be. Not the parent that you want to be for your child, but the parent that your child needs you to be, so he could grow into being who he's meant to be.
Wow.
So it's deep work, it's emotional, it's painful, and it's a lot of healing and a lot of love. We try to bring more love to self, to family in our life, and just healing those parts that, just talking about shame.
Right.
And it's funny, if we look at our generation and older, right? And I want to believe the new generation is in a different mindset. We did not grow up talking about sex and having sex and gender. We did not have those conversations with our parents.
I did. Mama was on that. She said, now look,
yeah,
this is what you need to know. And I did the same thing with my daughter, which was, I taught her that she was precious, that she was beautiful, and that her virginity was everything. And that you were a queen, and you just don't lay down with dogs because you're going to get it with fleas. And whoever you choose to be with, you need to be monogamous. You need to keep it clean. And, you need to have a sense of self. And you can always come to me. I don't care what it is. You can always come to me. Yes. So now, what is the conversation that you have with the child that's coming out and getting them to still love and trust the parent that is resisting this?
If I will get to say just one word, will be honesty. Being honest with your kid and say, okay, that doesn't change anything. I'm still going to love you. I'm ready to die for you, right? And I have no idea what the hell this means. So can you explain to me if that's the case? Or, okay, that's great. So let's see. I never look into this topic. Let's learn together. And we start the conversation with mama knows and parents is always right. And this is one paradigm that I want to shift it a little bit. And it's what if we get to be quiet and we get to learn and just sit there and listen? Because our kids, this generation, they are so more advanced than we were when we were their age. It's so much to learn from them. And again, for them, is just to know that you are there. They don't expect you to know everything. They don't expect you to tell them what. They don't even hear you when you say. But they feel how you feel. All they want is to feel safe and belonging and that they're loved, no matter what. The rest, 80% what is coming out of the mouth, it doesn't even hit their ears. I mean, that's proven.
Okay. So now we have approached something very different. The world of transgender and gender identification. Again, my parents was cool. I remember years ago, oh my God, I want to say early 70s, the first transgender came out, I think it was Sojourner Truth, and came out, and it was a man that was transitioning into a woman. And my parents took me with them. Now, I don't know if they knew I was paying attention, but to this day it is implanted in my mind. And so now you see the freedom popping up like dandelions. I mean, you know, you see the celebrities, Cher's daughter transitioned to a man. Kris Jenner went from a man to a woman. And it is now, again, the new reality. But that is, my dog had something to say. We'll get rid of him in just a minute. But, you know, with that, I'm trying to get my head around that as well, too, because that's not just about your child sexual preference. This is about putting on a whole new makeup. This is not the person that the mother thought they delivered through the womb. Okay. What is that? What's that like? Because that's real hard. That's real hard when your child, you know, knows in their physical mind and in their body that this is not who I was made to be. Something went wrong genetically. What's going on with that?
So I'm only going to answer based on the real stories that I got from transgender people that I interview, and we dissect and we go through all the process. And what is common to all of that is that when you a transgender is, you know, when you're very little. And it's easy to understand if we just gonna I just want to invite people to think in a little bit different for a minute. Your child doesn't know if he's a boy or she's a girl until you tell them so.
Okay.
You know, and they don't know. They simply don't. We teach them who they are. We teach them what everything is happening around them. And with transgender, they know they're in a wrong body, quote unquote. They will tell you that. They will come out as early they could articulate the words. They don't know that that is called transgender. They don't know that that is not the norm. They simply know in their body that, you know, like, don't call me Jessica. I am a boy. Why you keep treating me like a girl? Don't put the dresses on me. Right?
Right.
And it's a totally different process, because if you're thinking of a gay girl, right? Like, you know, you could be a lesbian woman and I will have no way of knowing unless you tell me so, right?
Right.
But when you are transgender, and I know you because I say you a month ago, and then I see you 3 years from now and you show up on my door as a man and you say, hey, I'm April Mahoney, and we're going to have a conversation about that. So it's like very exposed. There is no privacy. So that's why if we look at data of people that they don't have the support of the community or others, it's over 40% of transgender adults reported to attempted suicide.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
And like 90% of them is before the age of 25.
Wow.
Can you imagine being a 3-year-old boy that know that you need to be a girl and did not have the support at all until you're 25, out of the parents' house, finally an adult, on your own, get to decide for yourself, jump on it, but everything that builds up 20 years,
Wow. Yeah, that
we,
can be pretty heavy.
we cannot ignore that.
Now, explain this to me too. What is gender fluid? What does that mean? Now, and Magic Johnson, let me tell you, I got an opportunity to meet Cookie Johnson, Magic Johnson's wife. And that EJ is bad, okay? Got that, okay, got that work done, baby, be flawless, okay? Makeup be beat, everything. And I know that Magic he struggled with that. He struggled hard being an NBA player and this macho man. And then mama still, trying to hide the dolls and trying to hide what's going on. But now he's not identifying as being gay or being transgender, transsexual. He said he's sexually fluid. What is he doing? What does that mean?
I personally don't really believe in defined definition, especially when it's coming to gender.
Okay.
I like to look at it like each one of us, we are like unique mix of femininity and masculinity, right?
Right.
So people that identify as fluid is just mathematically speaking, I could say they're like half-half. So there is not a predominant. They could go either way, right?
Right.
But really, if I tap into compassion and love, I'm like, those are amazing people. They have the power and the capacity to love everyone with no labels and with no boxes. And I choose to look at that even at the same-sex couples. Like the whole concept of binary simply doesn't exist. There's those stereotype questions when you see two women or two men, like who's the man? You put that question, and it's just
right.
so wrong and it's so offending because for this couple, there is no such a thing. Nobody need to be in control and nobody need to play a role. They're just two humans. They're equal and they love each other. That's for me.
Now I'm gonna interject in there just a little bit because from an outside observation, relationships or just kind of casually seeing things, I always see one person playing maybe a more submissive or dominant role, not so much man, but you will see with lesbian women, you will see one that looks a little bit more masculine and is a little bit more in charge. So there's really, no binary there. We just open it up.
But I will tell you this, and maybe my husband won't be happy to hear this. I'm a female, he's a man, and we are playing the roles a little bit different than traditional family. So doesn't matter
girl.
Right, okay. Like I'm the man, like I'm expressing a lot of masculine energy. Like I make decision quick, I'm a doer, let's do it, it's something, the gate was broken, I took the nails, I took the hammer, I went, I fixed it, right? And
right.
he is the kind and loving and let's step back, very caring. Like he's expressing a lot of feminine energy. He's doing the laundry. He loves doing dishes. Like if we think about stereotypes and how in binary world we are deciding the clothes, the colors, the activities, the sports, that whatever based on our genitalia. That in my marriage, my husband and I'm the man, he's the woman. So who says that we don't get to do that?
Right.
And I'm looking the same to the same-sex couples. It's like one is expressing more feminine, masculine, and one is expressing more feminine energy and more masculine energy.
Okay. All right. I got you. Now, bullying. Bullying, it's a cold piece. I always say, get your kids some martial arts and teach them how to kick a butt. That'll get them off you. But, kids are going to school and it's time for the father-daughter dance. And here he comes with his two moms. These kids, they don't have the opportunity, maybe because they're not living in that situation, or maybe they are. Maybe the mother and father were together at one time, and now they've broken off, and maybe the mother has found that her love and her passion is to be with a woman, and then there's the father there. So now they're subjected to two different controversial lifestyles, and the child is confused, and rightfully so, because again, they don't know. You don't know what you don't know. So until you're actually taught that, then there's a problem. So then you're going to school and you're bringing your two moms to the daddy-daughter dance. How are we working through that? What do we say as the gay family? What do we say as a straight family to try to bring some cohesiveness to the relationship and the civility and, our child's life?
Yes, very, very good question. And we are in the same conversation we've been before, because as you say, the child doesn't know until you tell them. And I've been interviewing few kids that grow up with two moms or grow up with two dads, and now they're adult. And again, the common denominator is that was their norm. And they didn't know that they are in a different family structure until some of the friends bring them to them. So then, with any other issues, people are splitting in two groups. One group that just don't get it and is not curious to even expand their mind, and the other group that is getting curious, and now they learn, and now they expand their beliefs, their mind, their heart for more love, and then they get to grow up next to this kid's friend into a very inclusive belief. And that's the thing that I'm challenged, like upgrading the inclusivity and parenting from a place of inclusion. I don't care if you don't have kids, you're still a role model for kids around you.
Right.
I don't care if your kids are not gay, you still need to raise them from a place of inclusivity, because your child is going to grow up an adult and is going to be with my child and the other child that is transgender, and we want them to be happy together.
Right.
We want them to break the stereotypes that we are living now. And we have the power to break those stereotypes by raising our kids from a place of inclusion.
Right. Well, you know what? You travel around the world. You are not kidding. Okay. You're not just talking from the computers. You're not talking from the computer screen. You probably have 2 or 3 passports because you got so many stamps. Who's the most progressive in this state of awareness? Is it European countries? I've been to, countries where you walk around naked and it's not a big deal. You have polyamorous relationships. It's not a big deal. I mean, sex is just a part of it. It is not the totality of it. So who's the most progressive? What are they really doing around the world?
Well, I don't have the answer to this question. I was guessing if I would say something. But what I would say, I was born in, and raised in Europe for the first 30 years of my life, and then 10 years in the United States. And now I'm blessed to travel pretty much in a different country every month. And I will say that if I just look at the attitude, and I think it's starting from a very early age, when children are not ashamed for touching themselves, for exploring their bodies, from feeling bad about being too skinny or too fat or whatever, right? So then they end up in growing in this confident adults that you go in Europe and most of the beaches, like all the ladies are topless, and nobody gives a shit. Nobody's staring at them,
right?
And you can't do that. I remember when I moved to the United States, like the kids are running around naked. Nobody's worried about it, right?
Right.
I remember when I was in Jersey, probably was Atlantic City, I mean, one on the beach, and my kid was little, and, I just landed there from Romania. Like, I was not topless, but I didn't find fit to put a bathing suit on my kid. He's not telling this story. But, but security to come and pull me aside is like, you can't do that. I was 33 years old, and that was the age when I learned about pedophilia and
wow.
I did not know that because I've been not living into a culture where we are afraid for our kids' safety.
Right, right,
Right?
right.
So I think it's a matter of expressing sexuality, right? And
Absolutely.
other countries where, you know, the women, they're all covered, well, that says a lot where they stand with that, right?
Right, right, right. They don't devalue. And you know, again, you brought up something about exploring your body. You know, if you don't know how it works, you know, you never put the key in the ignition and turned it. You don't know. And I had a situation where I had to really kind of have a conversation with a friend of mine because she really whipped and spanked her child because she caught her masturbating.
Mm.
And, you know, I told her, I said, this is a part of self-exploration. This is a part of knowing your body. Well, who taught her that? I said, you don't have to really kind of jump to that assumption. You know, just progress, watch things, hear things, see what's going on, watch who you have your child around, pay attention. But once you see them start trying to figure out, hey, you know, I'm getting some hair down here. Wow, this thing leaks oil. You know, or these things stand at attention. You know, to explain to them what it is. And if you don't keep it a secret, it becomes the new reality. It's like,
Yes.
oh, okay, you know, mom, you know, something's wrong with my penis. Or wow, mom, there's hair growing down there. It's a normal conversation. But it's like, shh, don't talk about it. I was talking to a dear friend of mine and I said, you know, what if you found out if your child was gay? You know, the first thing she said, oh, we're not going to talk about it. And I said, so you're going to go their entire life denying them their identity, denying yourself the opportunity of knowing who this person is that you brought into the world, subjecting them to whatever the world's influence has with no support. You're just not going to talk about it. Well, you're doing them a disservice. Brains, you're doing your kids a disservice, okay? These are your babies, no matter what. You can't beat it out of them. You can't send them away. You can't brainwash them out of it. You can't, you know, you do yourself harm if you disassociate yourself with them. You know, if you are a true lover of your religious and your religious belief, then go to your God and ask for wisdom. Ask them to be kind. Ask them to do some clarifications, because in my world and my God, he don't make no mistakes. He don't make no mistakes. Everybody's perfect. He loves everybody the same. He knows exactly what you're doing from the womb to the tomb. Okay? So we got to get it together, or we are really going to create a much uglier world, because it seems like here in the United States, we being set back 50 years. Okay, people talking some old stupid stuff because of the color of your skin. So because of your sexual or gender identity, something that really innately in your own mind that you can't control, you're going to, you know, you're going to torture me. You know, there's a lot of countries that you can't talk about it. There's a lot of countries that you are stoned, but in those same countries, young men are used for sex and women are used for breeding. Okay, so they got it twisted. You know, you hear everything that's happening in the Catholic Church, what's happening with the Boy Scouts. If you deny people their ability to be who they are, you know, you have religions where you can't have sex. If you can't get off, you're going to sneak and do it. It is a natural part of what we were here to do. That's why we were given these things. Okay, so because you choose not to believe it or deal with it, you got a problem. So I want to talk to you a little bit about your podcast, because it's powerful. And I mean, it's raw and it's uncut. And people come on and they really talk about who they are and the experiences that they're having in the world. How long have you had your podcast? And tell us a little bit about it.
It's gonna be, I think, a year in October.
Wow.
So I already shared how come out to do this podcast is just with my son coming out and asked me that question, did you come out as straight? And I'm like, okay, we need to collect some stories. We need to give people the mic and talk about it so we bring awareness. And my mission with that podcast is to create a future where no one needs to come out anymore. I don't care what your gender is. I don't care what your sex is. Like, don't come out, just be. and learn how to accept and who they are, and no judgments, right?
Mm-hmm.
It started with collecting one story, two stories. So people, I'm just like so grateful for every guest that I have. They are sharing personal. And then there is couples that we get to learn from what they went through. And they went through some shit, man.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And then couples, same-sex couples that they have kids. And then I interview kids of the same-sex couples. And then I'm bringing constantly organization and experts in the field, because a lot of work in the fertility space, or I'm lucky to be married with an expert in fertility. That's really handy to have the scientists in the house. But bringing those pieces that it's helping LGBTQ community to create their own family. So I have founders talking about it, and then just putting together all the pieces, and really it's bringing so much awareness, like just with fertility itself. If you think about, I was participating to a surrogacy conference in Taipei back in March, I think. And it was men from Taiwan and from Hong Kong. So I was in a room with 500 plus couples. They are looking at options how to become dads. That room was filled with heavy feelings. It was desperation, was shame, was secrecy. Like, we are talking about the cultures when same-sex marriage is not legal. I mean, Taipei just passed the law on legal, I think. When they don't get to adopt their own children. So those are the men, they are going there by themselves. They don't have the family support because the family don't know what they do, because they don't live the family.
Right.
You know, and then they find probably a surrogate woman in the US. Now they fly there, and sex, and 9 months later you have a baby. This is a process that takes 3 years, and we are talking lots of money. Like, you could think about $200,000 US to create a baby. And then to have somebody, a straight person, calling them names.
Wow. After
they go through all that to bring a human into the world. I mean, that kid knows that was wanted and loved, and like, that kid was wanted. That was not an accident.
Right. That was planned for real. That is incredible.
To have that baby.
That is crazy. So as we conclude this powerful interview, girl, you're going to have to come back, because you know I'm going to get some questions.
Yes. I would love to come back.
But check this out. How do we show up? Okay? Because there is going to be shock. There is going to be shame. There's going to be some ugly words. There's going to be some pain. How do we show up? Number one, it's like I talk to people that are recovering from alcohol abuse or sexual abuse or verbal abuse. Mm-hmm. The first thing they say is, "Hi, my name is John and I'm an alcoholic." Mm. Okay, that's a part of his 30-second elevator speech. Not, "Hi, I'm John, I like to surf, I'm a computer tech, blah, blah, blah." The first thing he puts is the thing that has put him down in front of him. Okay, "Hi, I'm Judy, and I was sexually assaulted by my father for 30 years. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking that, you can maybe put that in the back end of the story, and just identify who you are as a person, how you're showing up now. Do you have some suggestions on how we can show up now?
Oh, I love that question. Ooh, we could have a whole 3 episodes for that question alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
It literally gives me chills, because I know what victimhood is. I've been there, and I hated it, right? And to come out of that and follow the societal standards, rules, whatever, to introduce yourself as the trauma that you went through.
Right.
It's just It's just simply wrong. So I am not a woman that is being abused. No, ma'am, I'm not. Right?
Right.
So I invite everyone to show up as the people they're growing into to be. Like, who do you want to be in the world? Like, what kind of parent do you want to be for your child? Show up like that.
Right.
Even if you're not there, show up like that. Do you want people to stop judging you and don't speak behind your back and don't put labels on you? Guess what? Do the same.
Right.
Show up with no judgment, no labels, no gossip, and just open-minded. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you don't understand what that gender is or what they're going through. You don't have to. It's okay to don't understand, but you have the option to accept that human. And you have the option to, do you want to learn about it? Get curious. Ask. People love to ask.
But don't ask a transgender if they've had the operation. That's a big no-no. You will get your feelings hurt, okay? That's none of your business. that's none of your business.
You were mentioning earlier about masturbation and involuntary erections and all that. And it's the same thing what you just said. It's about privacy.
Right.
So even as a parent, like, it's not about slapping your child's hand and shame him, and then they grow up with that shame that we start a conversation with. It's an opportunity for you to sit down and let them know what they feel is normal and it's biology and it's all good, and understanding that is giving you pleasure, and we are here to experience pleasure and love, and it's private, right?
That's
so
right.
The same thing with transgender is like, I get to get curious what you went through, how is it like for you, what you're going through every day to step into that woman when you've been a man for 30 years. But asking about the genitalia, that is simply is crossing some boundaries.
Right, right. Well, let me tell you, you have really laid the roadmap. I thank you so much. I thank you so much for being a fighter, for being an influencer and a game changer, and being out there to stand up, not just for your son, but for, all the people that are being silenced, that are being mistreated. Because again, brains, they ain't going away. Okay. Okay, yeah. So what we have to do is just incorporate them in our lives. And you don't realize the beauty and the wonderness. The world is ever evolving, it's ever changing. And my God, and I know that your God and the God of all people did not make any mistakes. They know exactly what's going on. And I thank you again, Simone. I think that you're awesome sauce. I really do, for coming here and doing this and doing the work that you do around the world. Tell my brains how to get in contact with you, because there's going to be some questions and there's going to be some people that's going to need some love.
Yes, thank you so much, April. You're so kind and you're so freaking hilarious. So I do want to, for your audience, with your permission, I would like to offer a free ebook for parents specifically.
Oh, okay.
I put together a material where, how to talk to your children about sex and sexual orientation, few ways, just little tools that could implement immediately. If you're willing to share that with your audience.
Absolutely.
I'm going to send you the link and we do that for them. And what was the question?
How do they get an overdose of you? Okay, where's your website and podcast?
I was also thinking how you say, we have our own God, and it's just such an opportunity to learn about our children. And it's exciting.
It is exciting.
If your child coming out and being something else that you might thought that it is, it's so exciting. You get to learn a new thing. It's enriching your life. Why you will say no to that?
Because I'm telling you, I go back to E.J. Johnson. That baby is fine, okay? Gorgeous. And I know that Magic is like, wow, but you have something exotic. You have something rare. Look at it as a jewel. Look at it as a gift. Don't look at it as a punishment or a curse. You have something that is rare. Nurture it. It's like a precious diamond, and once that black stuff comes off of it, it shines brilliant. And there's nothing like it in the world. So learn to love it. You still ain't gave us your website.
Yes. Contact. Yes. So the best email will be transformation. Do I need to spell that?
No, you got it. I'm going to put it down at the bottom too.
Fantastic. So it's transformation@simonaspark.com. Any questions? There is like no fear. I'm open to any language. There is no filters with this one right here. No filters.
No, it's not. It's not. And that's what I love about you. I really do. And I'm so glad that you are here with us on the edge. Brains, again, like I said, this was a real raw conversation. We asked a lot of questions. I hope we expand your bandwidth. We opened up your brain to something, made it a little bit more comfortable for children that are coming out to be able to talk to their parents, made it more comfortable for parents to talk to their colleagues and their friends and love their child beyond our own understanding. Thank you so much for being here on the edge, and I want you to come back again, okay?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, April, and thank you for the work that you do. God, woman, you connect people from around the world with so many key topics. I'm like,
that's what we do on the edge. That's, you know, we want conversations that are poignant, edgy, and sharp. Thank you again, and I will talk to you real soon, okay?
Yes. Love you, girl.
All right. Bye, Brains.